Hello, everyone. Welcome to the October 11th Father, Son, and Holy Spirit NFL show. I'm G-Man here in Ohio, but also in Ohio. Team Money back here in the Buckeye State on the west side. What's up, T?
What's going on, G-Man? Excited to be back here. You've been killing it once again with your bets, riding that bet train you were on last year. So excited to see you still rolling and horrified at how bad I am at this stuff.
We're going to have some big bets for all you guys later on in the show. But Team Money, speaking of Ohio and states and cities, man, how about the NYC, New York Jets, New York Giants, the two surprise teams of the year, man?
Hey, it's impressive. I mean, did not see Zach Wilson playing this well. Daniel Jones, I thought was going to be out of the league by week 6, and here he is 4-1. So just all around shocker. Good for them. Good for Brian Dable and Robert Saleh. You know, Saleh getting on the hot seat there, close to it, looking like they've got things headed in the right direction.
Hey, going into NFL week 6, I can't believe it, but 6 starts on Thursday night. We got the Washington traveling to Chicago to Soldier Field. It's a pick'em game. It's the lowest over-run total of the week at 37 points, man.
Crazy. That's always tough there. The colder it gets, Soldier Field is a different animal, man. Different animal.
Hey, but Washington's 7-1 straight up in its last 8 times they played Chicago. There's a early tip for you guys. 7-1. Watch out for Washington straight up when they play Chicago. And then it's Sunday at 4, man. We have the Bills and the Chiefs going at it. Tyreek Hill, I just saw a report that he is playing, so he is back. No Tyreek Hill for the Chiefs, though. Tyreek Hill playing for the Dolphins. It might be the difference.
It might be, man. That the Chiefs are the number 1 offense in the league right now, though, by most points scored. Even though the Bills, everyone's on the Bills train. Just saying, Patrick Mahomes is not favored for the first time ever at home. He's going to have some juice to this game.
Something to say about that.
Yeah, I think he's going to come with a vengeance. So watch out. I would go with Chiefs, but I don't want to pick this game because I think it's going to come down to whoever gets the last possession.
Yeah, 4 o'clock games on Sunday. Everybody's going to be watching that one. Hey, y'all, do us a favor. Press the like and subscribe. We appreciate your support. Let's kick things off with the Ross Rundown. We're going to take you around the NFL and cover some hot topics that might be affecting your fantasy or your betting or maybe just your viewing pleasure in week 6. Hey, let's kick it off, Team Money, talking about should the Broncos bench Wilson? What do you think?
I think they might have to, but the problem is I don't know who's behind him, right? If they had a suitable backup, I think that would be something that I would consider. But right now, he looks horrible. And luckily he's got this new excuse that, he's got some partial tear in his shoulder. So I am not sold on Russell Wilson as a quarterback in this league for much longer if he continues to play like this. It has been atrocious. Nathaniel Hackett looks like he is not a good coach and is so uncreative with his play calling. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I think you might have to bench him and say that it's injury, you might have to say that it's an injury thing. But I think he needs to sit a week and just have some time to think because this is bad. He looks horrible.
You got Javonte Williams out. I mean, this offense was supposed to be cranking. Jerry Jeudy. Yeah. None of these guys are doing anything, man. Tim Patrick's out. This offense is just falling apart at the seams. They lost to the Seahawks. They lost to the Raiders. They lost to the Colts. And now they got the Chargers Monday night.
Oh, man. And that's the sad spot for the NFL. I think that they thought the Broncos were going to be this year's feel-good story, kind of Matt Stafford going to the Rams type. And it has not been that. And they put the Broncos in so many primetime games. They were in Monday night, I believe, a week or 2 ago. Then they were in Sunday night, Thursday night most recently. Now they're in Monday night game. No one wants to watch this team. And I feel bad for all the Monday night viewers, man. It's not prime time when Russell Wilson and Nathaniel Hackett are out there right now. It is bad. It is bad.
Broncos offense only putting up 15 points per game. That's 31st in the NFL. 15 points a game. Their defense has not played too bad. Their defense only gives up 16 points a game, which is the 4th fewest. Their defense was great last year. What they thought they were doing was putting the total package together this year. and it's not going to happen. And can Russ keep up with Herbert on Monday night? I don't think so.
I don't think so, man. And it's been weird because it's like his decision making, and maybe it was masked by Pete Carroll more than we think in Seattle, right? Maybe, the whole let Russ cook narrative that was last year, why he wanted out of Seattle to be the main guy in the offense. Well, maybe Pete Carroll saw this stuff in practice, and none of us saw this. We only saw the good parts and the greatness that he was when he was allowed to cook under their system, right?
Yeah.
When he was allowed to throw in their system, he looked great. And we're like, why don't they throw all the time? Maybe it was that system, man. And Pete Carroll knew, I can't let this guy cook all the time because he's going to burn the kitchen down. So it'll be interesting to see what they do here. I think they're just in for a long season. They're stuck with this guy for a long time, so they need to figure it out quick. Let me transition to another hot seat, though, and this time a coach, Kliff Kingsbury, and these Cardinals once again looking mediocre. I mean, what do you think? Is it time to fire this guy?
Well, I think we should give him a little bit of time. I'm not pleased with him either. We've talked about him before. They've had some players out. They lost a heartbreaker to the Eagles. Had they beat the Eagles, we would be saying different things. Final score 2017. They missed a field goal with only seconds left. They lose to the Eagles, who we all know is good. So let's give them a little bit of time here. The Cardinals are a few plays away from us talking about them being in contention because that division is still kind of open there.
Yeah.
So no, I think we got to give them a little more time. What do you think?
I think it's time to go. I'm just not convinced that he's a good enough motivator towards the end of the season. And as teams don't improve, they get worse towards the end of the season.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just not sold on it. And clearly there's some sort of either coddling of Kyler Murray, because his decisions at the end of that Eagles game is why they were in that position with a hurried field goal. They had a guy who was cut from 2 teams this year in as their replacement kicker because their kicker was hurt. How about we try to get a little bit closer? They spike the ball on first down. Kyler Murray has no awareness that if he slides, he's giving himself up early, right? So he doesn't get the first down. He gets 9 yards instead of 10 and doesn't full speed ahead and get the first down. So then they have to clock it again, and they rush the kicker out there. There seems to be some miscommunication with him and Kyler. Kyler's decision-making is starting to bite them in the butt instead of being the reason he's so special, that backyard football kind of guy he is. Someone's got to corral this guy. He's talented, but this team just gets worse as the season goes on. And when you start bad, my gosh, what are you going to end like? Yeah,
they're 2-3, but they're 0-3 at home. They've lost 3 games at home. That's crazy. They're only 1 game out of first. So San Fran's in first at 3-2. So they're amazingly still in the hunt.
Yeah.
Here's something they can fix. Did you know that Arizona has now won 5 games in a row without scoring in the first quarter? How about focus on that in week 6?
I agree with you. And they are so lucky. The NFC as a conference is down, and in their own division, the Rams are down. So they're fortunate this year because you're right. They might still be in it, even though they have not been playing well these past few weeks.
Yeah, we thought that division was going to be superior with Arizona, Rams, and San Fran all together. But
yeah,
Arizona again letting us down. They travel to Seattle on Sunday. It'll be one of those 4:00 games on Sunday. Remember, we said the Bills and Chiefs also play in that 4:00 slot. There's only a few games. Arizona favored by 3 in this one, man. Arizona goes to Seattle favored by 3. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can hold that up. Let's go on to the next question for you, Team Money. Team Money, we're going to ask you about the Cowboys. We love talking about the Cowboys. Dak, I don't think is coming back, but there's rumor he might come back and all of that. But what do you think? Whether he comes back this week or the next, you think they should stick with Rush or go with Dak?
I mean, if Cooper Rush beats the Eagles, you cannot bench him. I'm sorry. You cannot bench this guy. He just beat, quote unquote, the best team in the league. He's 5-0. I mean, look, I don't think he's a good quarterback compared to Dak Prescott. He's much, much worse. but it's the optics of it. It's the team. If Dak Prescott comes in and loses a game, which he's going to, you're not going to go undefeated. There's going to be clamoring for Cooper Rush. Like, this guy was undefeated. It's a bad situation. But at the same time, I think they're going to get lucky here. I think Cooper Rush has been insanely above average for a backup quarterback and gotten them 4-0 through this, right? And the Eagles probably win this because Cooper Rush looks bad because the Eagles defense is solid. And then everyone's like, well, yeah, that's why we need Dak Prescott. So yeah. I think that there is not going to be a quarterback controversy because Cooper Rush kind of has gotten worse if you watch every single game. His worst game of the season was this past week, really. The defense was just dominant. So I don't think there's going to be a controversy, but my God, if they beat the Eagles somehow, good luck, Dak, because I would not want to be in that hot seat. The whole entire fan base is going to be buying Cooper Rush jerseys.
That's hilarious. Hey, you're going to die when you hear this, but I just heard earlier today that if they beat the Eagles, Mike McCarthy is going to be one of the front runners for Coach of the Year.
It's insane. What the hell is going on?
That is how crazy this is getting. That division over there, Philly 5-0, Dallas 4-1, the Giants 4-1. That NFC East is like the premier division.
I was going to say, is this a joke? Are we in the Twilight Zone? The NFC East is supposed to be the NFC least. What the hell is going on? We thought Washington might have a shot at the dang title, and they've won one game. So it's crazy. It's crazy what that division is doing.
Now, Dallas is doing it with defense. It's not Cooper Rush. Everybody's talking about Cooper Rush, but Dallas ranks 24th in the NFL in scoring. They're only averaging 19 points a game. It's that defense that's doing it for them. So we'll see what happens here against Philly. See if we're talking about them next week.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. Well, I want to ask you about one of our better quarterbacks in the league here, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers go to London and lose to the Giants here. Is this concerning for you, G? Are you now concerned about the Packers after watching this game?
Well, I'm a little concerned with them, and I've been concerned with Aaron Rodgers for a while now. We've been talking about Aaron Rodgers and his laissez-faire, laid-back attitude ever since he got kind of in trouble. He's now trying to win everybody's hearts and be the guy that everybody likes. He doesn't have that fire, man. He just doesn't have that fire. That's what I see at him. I've seen it for at least 6 months, maybe close to a year with Aaron Rodgers. I've been concerned about his passion. I think he's losing it, the passion. Yeah. They fall to the Giants 27-22. They failed to score any points in the second half. This is Aaron Rodgers. Is he the greatest of all time? He scores no points in the second half. When they're losing the game, he can't bring them back and win. I mean, the guy's not into it, man.
No, I agree with you. I mean, you're up 14. It was 17-3, and you lose this game to the Giants and Daniel Jones. Embarrassing loss, right? And not only, I agree with you with his attitude. He seems to not care. He got his money, blah, blah, blah. But he just seems to be finger pointing as well. He's blaming this, he's blaming that on defense and play calling and timeouts. And he's especially blaming his receivers. It's not his fault, or it's not the receiver's fault that the Packers drafted them. It's not Randall Cobb's fault that they signed him. Like, why are you blaming them for not having experience? Alan Lazard's been there for 4 years, and you're going to complain about chemistry? Randall Cobb, you wanted to bring in. You're going to complain about chemistry because Dubes is your only guy. You wanted paid. And because you got paid, they couldn't pay Adams. Shut your mouth and stop complaining about the receivers and take some accountability for you playing poorly. That's what I don't like, is the accountability and finger pointing that he's doing right now.
Right. He thinks he's like above everybody else.
Yeah.
No, he's one of the team. Be one of the team, Aaron. Be one of the team. You're not the coach. All right. You can be the coach someday, but you're not the coach right now. Be a leader, man. It's a team. That's what
I
we
agree
would
with you.
say.
He's got the
Hey,
same amount of Super Bowls as Nick Foles. Like, let's stop talking about this guy in like the same breath as Brady and Peyton and Favre and all these guys. How about you go win a few more Super Bowls? You want to talk like you're the baddest dude in the room, because Patrick
And-
Mahomes is a young dude, got just as many Super Bowls. Matthew Stafford's got as much as you do. Like, go win some stuff. We're done giving you MVPs.
And speaking of a young dude, Zach Wilson comes into town to the Packers, Lambeau Field, Sunday at 1:00. Packs favored by 7, but Zach Wilson, the upstart, could he pull the upset here at Lambeau against Aaron? That would be crazy, but Pack favored by 7.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Let's go on to talk about those Giants, the other team in New York, the Giants. What do you think about Daniel Jones? He's won some games, but do you think he's the long-term answer there?
I mean, this is kind of where I'm excited for the Giants, but he doesn't still look like an NFL quarterback to me. He looks like a backup. He looks like Mitchell Trubisky, maybe a little bit better. He looks Tyrod Taylor, right? You know, like he seems like he's fine. But I'm worried for the Giants and Brian Daboll moving forward, because you don't want to be stuck in this quarterback purgatory that they're about to be in, right? If they win 9 games this year, they're going to be the 16th pick. You're not going to get these top flight quarterbacks that are going to go in the top 5 to 7 picks here. And there's a class above. There's 3 big guys coming out this year: Will Levis, Bryce Young, and CJ Stroud. Those are the guys you need to change your franchise, right? You might get lucky. You might find guys later in the round, right? You might get Derek Carr in the 2nd round. Who knows? But to really change your franchise, you typically need a top 5 pick, and they're playing so well despite Daniel Jones. I'm worried they're going to get stuck in purgatory. So unfortunately, he might be the short, long-term answer. I don't know.
Yeah, because they're not going to get the first pick now. I mean, they're 4-1. They're winning games. Saquon is the reason they're back.
Yeah.
Not just Saquon, but the fact that they're opening things up for him to be himself.
Yeah.
And he's more healthy. So that opens things up for Jones too. Saquon went out of the game the other last week, and Daniel Jones made some big plays. So Daniel Jones covered for Saquon. When Saquon got hurt, went to the sideline, Daniel Jones took him down the field.
He
without
did.
Saquon.
He did.
So he, let's not disrupt the momentum, I guess, would be my approach.
Yeah.
The team's winning. I agree with everything you just said. The Giants continue to shock the league. They're 4-1. And this is their most impressive win, knocking out the Packers. So this was a big, big win.
Yeah, coming from behind.
And each of their 4 victories, though, were all decided by 1 possession. So they're winning close games.
Yeah. Hey, Daniel Jones has a chance to prove me wrong. I mean, I'm somewhat right. I think he's the 30th best quarterback in the league, maybe, right? Like maybe 27 on a good day. Okay. But typically teams don't want the 27th best quarterback as their starter. They want him as their backup and have a young guy in there that they hope to groom to be a top 5, top 10 guy, right? That you don't want to be stuck in that purgatory, but I hope he proves me wrong. And I hope Daniel Jones has a good year. They look like they're trending that way. And hey, if you're a division winning quarterback, look at Jalen Hurts. Made the playoffs last year. He might be the long-term answer in Philly when no one thought he could be. So you can change your franchise in a year or two, and maybe Daboll's going to come in there and change it. Let's move on, though.
Daboll's been impressive.
I know. He has been. I like the guy a lot. And I think we both said we did like him, that was a great hire before.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the Patriots now. That's a team I've been pretty hard on. Cousin Randy put Bill Belichick in a grave last week. They had a hell of a bounce back week, shutting out the Lions. Are they officially back? Is my question for you, G.
Well, are they officially back? I would not give them that designation yet. Okay. They're 2-3. Buffalo's the leader at 4-1. They're not even close to Buffalo's caliber. So that's where they used to be. They used to be the leader in the AFC East. Are we going to be satisfied with mediocrity here, Bill? Or are we going to try to win this division? No, they're not there yet. It's because of their offense. Their defense did it. They shut down the Lions, who were one of the top offenses in the NFL. They shut them down, shut them out. So that defense can do it. They got Ramondre Stevenson running like a madman, 161 yards on 25 carries. So they got that running game going. They've got some of the components, man. I think they can put it together here.
Yeah. Hey, I'm all on the Zap train, baby. You know, they got a little electricity now there with Bailey Zappi, who looks better than Mac Jones. I don't want to say they're back because I just think they're so far behind that division. And even the Dolphins have looked really good this year. So I don't even think they could get second. Here's a question for you though, G. Who will have more wins at the end of the year? The Jets or the Patriots?
Well, that's a good question. That's a good question. Right now, I would bet on the Patriots defense. They're the best defense by far out of those two teams.
Yeah.
So I would bet on that defense. I like their running game. Quarterback for the Jets has been an issue too. So I'd still give an edge to the Patriots against the Jets.
Okay. But we both are saying they're most likely not making the playoffs, right? Is that what we're saying? Or are we saying because Tua's hurt, Dolphins might drop a couple? What are your thoughts?
Well, playoff right now, they are 11th. They're 11th. 7 teams go, right? Yeah. They're now in the 11th position. They got tiebreakers over Cleveland based on strength of schedule. Division tiebreaks, they're against Cincinnati. So they got some tiebreak that puts them now in the 11th spot behind Denver. Denver's 10, believe it or not.
That's insane. Yeah, I just can't see them making the playoffs. That AFC is tough this year. So that's what I would say. If you're going to consider someone back, I think that's making the playoffs at least. And I don't see that from them this year. So I'm going to say no. I don't.
Hey, Patriots travel to the Browns this Sunday, 1:00. The Browns, they're favored by 3. What's supposed to be a low-scoring game, the over-under on that's only 42. Low-scoring, banging out, defensive, running, run the ball kind of game there up in Cleveland. Hey, let's move on. Let's go catch up with Randy. Cousin Randy is out there in, I don't know where he's at. I guess he might be in timeout or something is what I've heard from our producers. Let's go right now for Randy's Chug and Chant.
Hey, welcome to this week's Chug and Chant. It's Cousin Randy here. I put myself in timeout here because I'm Cincy rooted and I'm just upset with myself. So let me get this chug in and then let's chant. All right, Cincy fans, we're putting ourselves in timeout because we deserve this. Because it's Cincy. What could we expect? No. We can't expect Super Bowls regularly because we have a bad coach. We thought we found the coach once we found the QB, but no, this guy is proving to be over his skis. It's a bad play caller. We're losing close games. He can't figure out the offensive line. His play calling, which is his duty and supposedly what he's good at, is uncreative. I'm Cincy rooted, but we're rooted in sadness. Okay. We have nowhere to go right now. I don't see any way for this team to get back to a Super Bowl anytime soon. Guys, what do we do here? We're just going to cry ourselves to sleep every night because I don't know if I can leave this corner. Cincinnati fans, it's doom and gloom here. Either Mike Brown's got to sell the team. We got to fire this coach right now. All right. It's not looking good for us. We might not make the playoffs. 2-3 right now. Bengals are not looking good. I'm a little nervous. G-Man, T-Money, what do you think? Zach Taylor, a good coach? Should he be fired? Because right now I'm in timeout, worried that this guy's our coach for the next 4 years because Mike Brown's too cheap to fire him. What do you think?
And there you have it. Randy is in the corner. Bengals not looking good to Randy. He's in timeout. So he's in the corner. Randy, hey, man, I feel your pain, man. I agree with Randy. They're just not showing the creativity on offense. They're holding back Burrow. I feel like Burrow,
that's kind of
his whole team is like being caged up. They're not letting him go. They got to let him play the game, man. Let's play some street ball. Let's let him be creative. Look at the Chiefs when they were playing the other night, when they get close to the goal line, they've got 25 variations. What they do when they're on the goal line, they're flipping passes underhand. Their guys are crossing. They're going in motion. There's so much stuff happening when Kansas City gets down on the goal line. That's creativity, man. I don't see any of that out of this Cincinnati team.
No, I totally agree with you. And as the resident UC Bearcats fan, this guy called plays and coached for the Bearcats for 2 years. And he moved on because he wasn't good enough to move up in our system. He wasn't a creative play caller. We didn't like him when he came here. Then he went and was a quarterbacks coach for Sean McVay, and like the hand of God touched this guy and he got tapped, right? Mike Brown is too cheap. I think Cousin Randy said it. That's the one big thing about this is, let's say the Bengals are horrible this year and go 3-13 or something, 3-14. He's not getting fired. One, because he made a Super Bowl. That gives you a year or two. Yeah. And two, because Mike Brown is so cheap, he will not buy out a coach. So this guy is with us until 2026, and no one can do anything.
Okay, well, give me an OC that's creative and knows how to call plays.
Eric Bieniemy, who played for the Bengals. That's who I was preaching for the whole
Bring in an OC
offseason.
Bring in an OC. Let him he can be the head coach. We're going to bring in an OC.
Yeah.
Hey, Bengals are in 13th place in that AFC playoff picture. And the biggest thing is they're 0-2 in their division. They're going to lose the tie breaks. They've lost to the Steelers and the Ravens. Yes, the Steelers they lost to.
Bro, all three losses have been at the gun, right? At the end of the game, which is sad. Zach Taylor, 18-34-1. And like you said, they need to bring in a new play caller. Supposedly someone asked him about this and he said, well, we're all kind of calling plays. If that's the truth, one, that's bad coaching because there shouldn't be multiple people in Joe Burrow's ear calling plays.
As we learned in New England as well.
Exactly. And two, get the right play caller in there, right? If you're not the guy, you need to be able to admit that as a head coach. And I think he thinks he's the guy because Joe Burrow got hot at the right time last year. But this is different, man. They just don't look buttoned up. They don't look creative. The spark of Joe Burrow of last season looks gone. Jamar Chase all of a sudden looks ordinary because they're not scheming him open. I just think it's all headed in the wrong direction after a phenomenal year.
Well, they threw two quick outs to Chase in the first series and never saw him do it again.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, they're trying to get Chase the ball. Quick throw out to the side. Chase gets 10 yards. They never ran it again. I'm like, where's that? Keep on doing that stuff, man. Do some different stuff. Yeah, the two biggest disappointments this year, and I'm supporting Randy. I agree with Randy on all of this, but it's funny that the two biggest disappointments when you look across the league are the two teams that were in the Super Bowl. You look at the Bengals, they're flailing right now, and the Rams do not look good either. Both of those teams are your two big disappointments.
Yep, makes sense.
Cincinnati's at New Orleans Sunday at 1. They're favored by 2 at New Orleans. Close game, over-under's low, 43, which is the point. They want this low-scoring, drag-out affair, and that's going to happen again against New Orleans. So Taylor better not lose to New Orleans. Let's move on to our big bet show. Let's talk about who's going to win these games. Who are the big picks? T-Money was talking about it last time, and G-Man's on a roll here, man. 4-0 the last 2 weeks against the spread. So, man, here we go. We're going to give you 2 picks and then a prop block, player prop block. But our first 2 picks, starting off with our lock pick of the week, Team Money. Who you got?
I got the Niners minus 5.5 versus the Falcons. All right. I thought the Falcons got screwed last week versus the Bucks with that roughing the passer call, but they didn't even look like they were in the Bucks class there. And I think the Niners with that defense and that run game is just going to destroy these Falcons. I don't think Mariota is going to be able to play.
You like that guy behind me?
I do. Like Jeff Wilson Jr. is going to run all over these Falcons. I know that's your boy. And I like Jeff Wilson Jr. to just smoke these kids this week.
Oh,
so
nice. Well,
I'm thinking it's a big blowout here. I don't know how the Falcons are only 5.5-point dogs.
Yeah.
And so I just think they are at home, but yeah, give me the Niners big here. I don't know. That just seems like an uneven matchup to me. And I think the Niners are going to come down the pipe here and, just destroy the Falcons.
All right, good pick. We got the team money in for the Niners -5.5. G-Man is going to take you to Lumen Field in Seattle for his lock pick of the week. Sunday, 4:00 game. And all of you are watching Buffalo, Kansas City. There's another game going on. Two teams vying for the NFC West. Perfect time for Arizona to get back on track after losing that heartbreaker we talked about earlier against the Eagles. I like Arizona here. Favored by 2.5 over Seattle and Geno Smith. Big part of that's going to be that Cardinals defense. They've done well. They own the 12th best rush defense in the league. They're allowing only 97 yards per game on the ground. That's number 5 in the NFL. And check out this. Arizona's 10-2 against the spread in its last 12 away games and 6-3 against the spread in the last 9 games against Seattle. And you know that Seattle defense has issues. I like Kyler Murray and Marquise Brown and Zach Ertz to light it up, man. Give me the Cardinals to cover the 2.5 points, my lock pick of the week.
All right. I like it.
Come back.
Let me move on to my dog lock pick of the week. And this one's going to be a special one because Team Money's going to be on the field for it. All right. I got a field pass this week for this game in Indy, and that's the Jags at the Colts. I'm going Jags +1.5.
Man.
Okay.
Oh man, going with your heart. With your heart there.
They're both. I will be on the Jags sideline. I got a buddy bringing me up to the game who's got some tickets, and so I'm riding the Jags. Whether in person, I'm going to be there with Sunshine, Trevor Lawrence, and those boys. Right? They both have 2 wins. This is a big division swing here. I think whoever wins this game takes control. I know the Jags didn't play great versus the Texans, but the Colts didn't even score a touchdown last week, and they somehow managed to get out of there with a win versus Denver. That offense looks stale. I think that the Jags go into Indy and they win this game because T-Money's on the sidelines.
Oh, man, that would be terrible for Indy, man, to lose that game right there. Oh, my gosh, but I love it, man. I love that you're doing that. And you need to get some of your long hair flowing there.
Yeah, I gotta grow out the hair, yeah.
You can fit in. And you bring back a picture with you and any NFL player, I'm going to put it as my background.
All right, deal.
Okay? Hey, I'm going to give you my dog lock, a dog that we think can not only cover but maybe win the game. That's our dog lock. Hey, I'm going to First Energy Stadium in Cleveland, Ohio, where the Browns will be trying to end a 2-game losing streak when they host the Patriots Sunday at 1:00. Patriots relied on their defense to win 29-0 against the Lions. The Browns are only 2-6 against the spread in their last 8 home games. Not as strong at home as you might think, Team Money. And here's another point in favor of New England. Bill Belichick. 8-1 against the Browns head-to-head. And last year he beat them 45-7. I think the Patriots could win this outright, but give me the 3 points for my dog lock pick of the week, the Patriots.
All right. I like it. That'll be fun. Well, let's move on to G-Man's player prop of the week. What do you got for us, G-Man?
Well, I let it up to you right there, man. I like that Arizona offense to get back on track against Seattle. That Seattle D is suspect. I like Kyler Murray, Hollywood Brown, and Zach Ertz. Remember, we record on Tuesday nights. I don't have all the player prop specifics, but if you look for Kyler Murray, Hollywood Brown, Zach Ertz kind of player props to beat their player props, I think there's going to be a lot of success there with that offense.
All right.
Player prop. Hey, let's move on to our fantasy games here. We got some fantasy football for you coming up next. Our fantasy football segment. All you fantasy managers, how you doing so far? Through 5 weeks, you're at the top of your league. Team Money is doing well. Team Money took me out last week, and I will not forget that in the playoffs, Team Money. Hey, but Team Money's doing well. We've got 2 games for you, 2 fantasy games for you. Keep in mind, we're recording early in the week, so some things may change. We got a hot and cold game to start. We're going to tell you the hot players. Hot players are people that might be on your bench you can start. They're people we recommend you start. We're not giving you the lock picks. We're giving you the ones that are on the bubble. Someone you can put in that flex spot. T-Money's going to give you the cold players. Watch out, man, because if you start them, they're going to break your heart. T-Money is great at this cold game. So let's start off with the hot and cold here. I'm going to go my hot quarterback of the week this week, Kirk Cousins against the Dolphins. Cousins helped the Vikings secure first place in the NFC North, giving them 3 consecutive wins moving into week 6 against the Dolphins. Cousins completed 32 passes for 300 yards and a touchdown on Sunday. And if you're playing DFS, Cousins is only going for 6,000 on DraftKings. Kirk Cousins is a start and my upside quarterback pick of the week.
All right. I was high on him to start the year. I like the Vikings. My cold QB of the week, Mr. Jalen Hurts, dark sleeper MVP candidate, only undefeated quarterback in the league besides Cooper Rush, who he's going up against. All right. But Dallas, 6th ranked defense, Micah Parsons and those boys are going to come in there, shut him down, make him throw, and they're going to contain him and the run. And I don't trust him to throw 22.1 points versus that defense. Dallas is legit. I don't see the Eagles having a high flying game here. I think it could be a 10-17 game because Cooper Rush can't score, but I don't see Jalen Hurts getting a boatload of points here. I can see them riding Miles Sanders, him having to make a few passes at the end of the game, and that's really it. This defense is legit. The Dallas defense might be the best in the league, and I don't see 22 points coming from him.
Man, you're riding that Dallas defense on your own fantasy team, man. They look great. Nice pick there. Hey, at running back, for the hot running back, someone that you could start, I'm going with Raheem Mostert of the Dolphins. Raheem Mostert has resurrected his career here. They're going against that Vikings defense. He rushed for 113 yards and a touchdown. His first touchdown in a couple of years. So he lines up here against the Vikings defense. They've allowed the 10th most fantasy points per game to running backs. And if you're playing DFS, he's a steal here, $5,700. Raheem Mostert, give him a start. My upside running back hot pick of the week.
All right, Mostert, that's your guy. I know you loved him back in the day.
I love him. Yeah.
My cold running back of the week, James Conner. Now, I know everyone's already talking about him because he's got a broken rib, supposedly, and so he's questionable for the game. I have a feeling he's going to play, and even if he does, do not start him. He goes, watch out. I think he's going to be very limited. He's projected for 14.9. I know the Seahawks give up a lot, but Eno Benjamin might outsnap him, and he is a legit running back. Some of the best per rush stats so far in the league. The guy's actually pretty dang good. So I think he's going to outsnap Conner, even if Conner does play or start. And so Eno Benjamin's the guy you want in that backfield, and Conner's hurt regardless. So I would stay away from James Conner.
Okay, good tip there. Let's go to wide receiver. I'm going to go with my hot pick with Rondale Moore. Rondale Moore, hot waiver wire pickup this week. He's going up against Seattle. I keep talking about that Arizona offense. The building blocks were laid by Rondale Moore in week 4, not week 5. He played 86% of the snaps in week 4, and he ran around on 94% of the dropbacks. Greg Dortch, remember Dortch? He sent Dortch to the bench. Rondale Moore, his success eliminated Dortch. Moore was busy again in week 5. He caught 7 passes out of 8 targets. And they should be able to move the ball, as I said, against Seattle. If you're playing DFS, I like the price, $4,200. Rondale Moore is a start, and my upside wide receiver hot pick of the week.
Riding that Cardinals offense, I like it. 1 week till D-Hop comes back, so might be the last week to start guys like Rondale Moore. But my cold pick of the week, once again, I'm going to be on the sideline for this one. Michael Pittman Jr., projected for 13.7 versus the Jags. The past 2 weeks, when the Colts have started to win, he's not gotten over 11 points, 10.9. And before that, not even double digits. The Jags are the 7th ranked fantasy defense versus wide receivers. So watch out. They're sneaky good versus wide receivers. And Alec Pierce is getting more targets now. The Cincinnati prospect, baby. All right. Love this guy. Hope to see him in person and at Lucas Oil. But Alec Pierce seems to be Matt Ryan's favorite target. And I just don't trust this Colts offense to be anywhere near dynamic enough for Michael Pittman Jr. to get 13.7.
Yeah, Michael Pittman's been a disappointment. I think it's mainly due to Matt Ryan just not living up to expectations, and he's dragging Pittman down with him. Pittman supposed to be a top 15 receiver this year, just not getting it done.
Yeah.
Due to that quarterback, man. And they've not been able to get the running game going either. So it's just they're not getting their whole offense moving.
Yeah.
Hey, let's summarize here. I got my DFS lineup here for you. Pulling together some of these guys we picked for the prop plays and for the hot picks of the week. Starting off at quarterback, we got Kirk Cousins, great buy there. Mostert and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Dropped Clyde Edwards in there at the running back with Mostert because he's been able to get some touchdowns. We got Rondale Moore at the wide receiver. I love that Buffalo opportunity against Kansas City. So I was able to afford, because of some of these buys, Stephon Diggs at my wide receiver, along with Marquise Brown on that Arizona offense. Also one with stacked up Zach Ertz, the Arizona tight end. On the flex, Cincinnati, Hayden Hurst at the tight end as my flex. And we go with that Buccaneers defense against the Steelers. There's our lineup for the DFS, man. Bringing it all together for you. Hey, let's move to our next game. Take or mistake, T-Money's favorite game, because he doesn't know what we're going to say or who we're going to bring up, and he has to respond to it. I pick a player that had a big week. T-Money tells you whether you should take the bait with that player or if that'd be a mistake. So let's start off with our quarterback. Quarterback, T-Money, I want to ask you about is Geno Smith out of Seattle. Geno Smith has been sensational. That continued on Sunday, threw for 268 yards, 3 touchdowns in the loss to the Saints. He's thrown for at least 2 touchdowns in 4 or 5 games, utilizing Metcalf and Lockett. The Metcalf and Lockett fantasy owners are ecstatic about Geno Smith. After 3 straight top 8 finishes in fantasy, can fantasy managers trust Geno to start this week against the Cardinals defense? Team Money, is Geno Smith a take this week as a starter in fantasy lineups, or would that be a mistake?
Hey, man, he's a take. He's a take. He's given enough sample size. He's not been erratic. He's scoring points every single week. This offense is surprisingly one of the best in the NFL. Like you said, DK and Lockett are dynamic. The run game has helped balance it out and keep the pressure off of him. He can run a little bit too, so he could get a rushing touchdown. And I think this will be a high-scoring game with the Cardinals. I like Geno Smith, and I think right now he's a starter for everyone in fantasy until he proves otherwise.
Okay, big hot waiver wire pickup. I know, Geno Smith. Hey, let's go to running back. I'm going to go in Arizona again. You just talked about this guy. Eno Benjamin, the running back from Arizona, backs up Connor. He rose to the occasion last week when Connor's ribs were hurt. Also remember Darrell Williams' knee. Darrell Williams was in there too. They both left with injuries. If Connor can't go this week, can fantasy managers count on Benjamin Team Money to keep it going against a weak Seattle defense? Is Eno Benjamin a take as a must-start RB this week, or would that be a mistake?
That's another take, man. I'm in on Eno Benjamin just this week because not only did their Connor and Williams get injured, their third string, who I don't even know his name, pulled his hamstring. So there's literally no one left on this team to run the football, right? So I think even if Connor plays, I mentioned this earlier as one of my cold running backs of the week, I don't think Connor's going to get a ton of snaps. Even if he does, he's going to be in such pain. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes out of the game immediately saying this is a no-go. I think Eno Benjamin's going to get a ton of points this weekend. Just this week, this man is a take.
You know, G-Man was on the runner-up in the state of Ohio as a starting running back. G-Man might be in line there for that Arizona practice squad role.
You could probably get on right now. They're thin.
Practice squad.
They're thin. You could get on.
That's great. Hey, let's go. Let's finish this up. Wrapping it up here. Our show for the day. Hope you're all having fun out there with our show. Wide receiver team money. I'm going to go to Randall Cobb in Green Bay. Cobb recorded 7 receptions on 13 targets for 99 yards. They lose to the Giants, as we talked about, but he led the team in targets, receptions, and yards. Fantasy managers have been let down before with Cobb, but Aaron Rodgers needs a go-to receiver. Can fantasy managers count on Cobb to deliver this week against the Jets? Team money. Is Randall Cobb a take as a must-start wide receiver this week, or would that be a mistake?
I think it's a mistake. I don't trust any of these receivers. It's been a different guy leading the team in targets every single week. If Dobbs had caught multiple and Lazard has dropped multiple deep touchdowns that should have been wide open bombs to where it would have changed the flow of games, and different guys on the team would have scored more points and gotten trust with Rodgers, blah, blah, blah. I don't trust Cobb at all. I do think he is actually like the third receiver on this team. So no, it's going to fluctuate week to week. I really wouldn't touch any of these Packers receivers unless someone begins to separate themselves. But Cobb is probably the third guy I would start. I would go Lazard, Dobbs, then Cobb for this Packers squad. Okay, good call. Good call. We got 2 takes out of you, 1 mistake. And Team Money, you send us some pictures that we can share next week with our fans from that sideline in Indy, man. We're going to love seeing you out there. And go Jags for Team Money's sake. Go Jags. But I want to see JT have a good game. Okay? Hey, man, have fun. That's it for today's show. We hope you had fun. Hey, hope you got some tips so you can win this weekend, whatever you're trying to win at. Make sure you look at all of our segments and clips where you consume your content. We're everywhere. Look for us at Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. On behalf of Team Money, I'm G-Man. Enjoy the games and see you all next week. All right. Peace.